Here, very similar to what we were just doing, talking about how the numbers in different places do different things to our graphs. So on this one, they have something in a parenthesis here, right? So we did not have parentheses on our previous worksheet, so they're adding one more rule to what we were previously doing. They said they want us to graph these in our calculator and see what happens. So in my graphing calculator, I'm going to go in and type in the two equations that they gave us there. So in my y1, I'm going to leave it as x squared. But in my y2, I need to type it just like they did. So I do open parenthesis, x plus 3, close parenthesis, squared. And then I'm going to clear out what I have in my y3. Okay, so I graph those. The one there in blue is x squared, and the one in red is my x plus 3 squared. Well, what's the difference between these two graphs here? Right, move to the left. Very good. So that's what I'm going to put in. How did it change it? The parabola shifts left. Okay, same idea for number 2. Okay, I go back in my graphing calculator, leave my y1 the same, but in the y2, they changed it to x minus 3 squared. Okay, so I'm going to graph those. So again, my x squared is this one here in blue, and my x minus 3 squared is the one over there in red. So what's the difference between the blue and red this time? Very good. So I come over here, and parabola shifts right. Okay? So basically, anytime the number inside of the parenthesis has a plus, like it did here, it's going to shift it which direction? Where did it say it shifted? To the left. And anytime it has minus a number in there, it's going to shift it to the right. Okay. So plus 3 means a big number, right? A positive number. Minus 3 would be a negative number. So what they're saying here is that in this parenthesis, that's where the C will be, that if your C is greater than 0, so a positive itself, then it's going to shift right. But if it's a positive number, this is what it looks like in the parentheses. It says x minus C. Well, we said when it says minus a number, that means it shifts right. Okay? If it says that C is less than 0, but what that's actually going to look like in the parentheses is x plus C, that's going to move it to the left. So if you notice, here it said that it was supposed to be positive, but in here they put a negative. Here they said C was less than 0, which would mean negative, but in here they put plus, right? So an easy way to remember which way it's going to shift it, left or right, inside of the parentheses is opposite of what it says. So if it says minus, we would think, oh, minus means to the left, opposite. Okay? Inside is opposite. Alright? So let's keep that plus our rules from the last lesson in mind. And in this part, they write the equation here. They want you to describe what change that is here. So that we take turns filling in different sides. So this equation has a plus 4 on the end. What does a plus 4 on the end do? Shifts up. Very good. So this goes up how many units? 4. Very good. Okay? Here they described what was happening. They want us to write the equation. So this time it says it shifts right 3 units. Well, where does left and right go? What does that look like in the equation? In the parentheses. Very good. Okay, so I'll have y is equal to x, am I going to put plus 3 or minus 3? Right, it's opposite of what it says. Very good. And then outside of my parentheses, we put our square. Okay? And this next one, again, they describe what happened. They says it's reflected across the x-axis. Well, what do you have to have for it to reflect? I would say on our last note, makes it reflect. Very good. I put a negative out in front. Okay, and they also said it goes up 1 unit. Where would an up 1 go in the equation? Plus 1 where at? At the very end. Very good. So x squared plus 1. All right. This next one, when I read this equation, the first thing I come across is that negative in front of the x squared. What do we say a negative does? Reflects. Good. So reflects across x-axis. Okay, and what's the next thing you notice in that equation? The minus 2, which does mean down 2 units. Very good. Okay, this next one says it's stretched by a factor of 4. Well, where does a stretch go? Right, out in front. Very good. So I'll have y equals 4x. It also says it shifted left 6 units. Well, where does left and right go? Inside parentheses. So I need to put a parenthesis in front of the x. If it went left 6, are we going to put plus 6 or minus 6? Very good. Close parenthesis and then put your square on the outside of the parenthesis. Okay? Next equation, we have a 2 out in front of the whole thing. What is a 2 going to do? Very good. Just like the 4, right? So it's stretched by a factor of 2. Okay, what's the next thing we notice? Yeah. Very good, very good. So right 5 units. And one more thing. Mass. Very good. All right, we only got 2 more for the boxes. This one says compressed by a factor of 1/3. Where does a compression go? In front. Very good, just like the 2, right? It's just a 1/3 instead. So we got y equals 1/3 x squared. Okay? All right, and then last one, it has a negative in front. What does the negative do? Good. So reflects across x-axis. Okay, then it says plus some number in the parentheses. What's that going to do? Right? So left, however many that number is. I'll just say left in units, since that's the letter they used. And then at the very end, they have a minus m. What's that telling us to do? Right. Down m units. Very good. Okay, so if you flip it over onto the back, in these ones they give you the picture. They want us to come up with the equation as well as some other characteristics of the graph. Okay, so the vertex is what helps us decide a lot of these things. So here's my vertex on this first picture, right? Okay, so the first thing I notice is that my parabola is upside down. Well, what would have flipped it upside down? A negative. So when I'm writing my equation, the first thing I need is a negative. Okay, the next thing that would come up in the equation would be a stretch or compression. Remember we said we checked 1, 1 to see if there's a point there. So if I go 1, 1, is there a point right there? So it didn't get a stretch or compression. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my x. Did it move left or right any? So we don't need any parentheses, so x squared. Did it move up or down any?
Yes.
Yes, where is it at?
2.
At 2, so I'm going to put plus 2 there on the end. Okay, because it should have started at 0, 0, but instead it's up there at 0, 2. All right, what would my domain be? Right. And what would our range be? Very good. Nice job. Okay, number 5. Again, first thing we look for is that vertex. So they actually also ask where the vertex is on this question. Where is that coordinate point at? There we go. So I'm at 2, negative 4. So that means it has been shifted left or right some and up or down some, right? 'Cause it's not at 0, 0. Okay, is it upside down?
No.
No, so we don't need a negative. Okay, now I'm going to do my 1, 1 check. Is there a point there? Okay, so no stretch or compression. So I have y equals, I don't need a negative. Did it move left or right any? Which way? Right, how much? 2. So I'm going to put what in my parentheses? Very good. Close parentheses and put my square. Did it move up or down any? How much? Which direction? Yes, very good. All right, and remember, my axis of symmetry comes directly from the x value of the vertex. So my axis of symmetry is just x equals, very good. All right, and then same thing for number 6. Where's my vertex on number 6? Very good. So that means it wasn't shifted left or right, and it wasn't shifted up or down. It's right there at 0, 0. So is it upside down? No. Do I have a 1, 1 check? Okay, so no negatives, no stretch or compression, no left or right, and no up, down. Anybody remember what we call that one? When it's just the most basic one. We talked about at the very beginning of last notes. Parent function. Very good. Okay, and again, axis of symmetry comes right from here, so x is just 0. All right, now we just got a couple multiple choice questions. All right, number 7 says, how does the graph of 3x squared minus 5 compare to 3x squared plus 8? So what's the only difference between the two? All right, and remember that is determined by up and down, right? So this one is at negative 5 down here. This one is at positive 8 somewhere up here. So how many points are between those two? 13, very good. So I need one that says that one is either 13 units above or below the other. Okay, so A says that negative 5 is above 8. Is that true? Is negative 5 above 8? Okay, so it can't be that one. This one says negative 5 is 13 below 8. Is that true? Yeah, that one sounds good so far. And then this one says it moves left and right. Did it move left or right? So it's got to be B. Okay, number 8 says that this is the current graph. They want to translate it up 4 units. So where is it right now? Where is it currently at? Negative 1. So it's down here at negative 1. They want to move it up 4 places. Well, if I move 4 places up from negative 1, where am I going to end up? At 3. I just add 4 to it and puts me at 3. All right, and then last one. What steps would transform x squared into this equation? Okay, well the first thing I notice is a negative. So what does a negative do? reflects, so we need it to say that it reflects across the x-axis. Are there any that don't say that? D says it.
Oh.
Just B. Okay. Then it has a 3. What does that 3 do? Stretch. Very good. So is there any I can mark out that don't say stretch by 3? C. Good. Okay, then it says x plus 4 in the parentheses. What does that mean? To the left. So is there any I can eliminate? Right. Very good. All right.